Inter go back to winning ways. As you can see, they go third in the Serie A. And it was a game that they should be winning. Like, it's one of those games where on paper, Inter should be beating. I'm not going to say their name because I never ever know how to pronounce them, okay? But they go back to winning ways against Pisa. They win themselves 2-0. Lautaro Martinez finally steps up. He finally steps up. And I really want to speak about Lautaro Martinez in this video. I want to speak about a few players that came off the bench and really done well. And this was like their opportunity to make a statement to Chivu, like, hey, you need to find a way to integrate me. Hey, you need to find a way to give me some more minutes because look at what I can do. Look at what I can do when the chips are down, when we're playing away from home, having just had, 3-4 days in between the game against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. Look at what we can do. And I feel like some players today were given an opportunity. They didn't grasp it. Like, they didn't take it with both hands. Let's just look at the goals first and foremost. Lautaro Martinez. Word around town, like, listen, I'm going to be real. Word around town, especially in Milan, word around town where I live in the UK, in London. He's a flat track bully. That's what they call him, a flat track bully. He's one of those players where, when it's against below par opposition, when the eyes aren't on you, he will score you 2 lovely goals. You can see, like, for example, with the first goal. This is a lovely strike. I'm going to be real. This is a very, very, very nice strike. First time on his left foot into the roof of the net, especially during, like, a very delicate period of the game where I feel like Pisa were actually exploiting that highline and they were getting moments against Inter. And I feel like when you're coming up against like below par opposition, the longer the game goes on and it remains 0-0, the more like nerves begin to kick in, which is, are we about to drop points? Are we about to concede and lose? Are we going to score? And I feel like I always tell you guys, football is a physical game. Football is a tactical game. Football is a technical game. Football is also a mental game. Like, when you know you've gone into a game where you are the big dogs and you're coming up against the underdogs, you are coming against below par opposition, you are coming up against a team where, let's be real, on paper, you should be winning, you should be dismantling, you should be walking out of that ground with 3 points. The longer the game goes on, the more that self-doubt begins to kick in. And so many times you see teams, like, towards the end of games, they start rushing things. When Lautaro Martinez put the ball into the back of the net, that's when I was like, yo, every single Inter player must be over the moon, especially Chivu, because he's probably sat thinking, hey, if I go 3 games without a win, we're talking Milan derby, we're talking Atletico Madrid, and now Pisa in whatever form, draw or defeat, scrutiny will be on me, scrutiny will be on these players. So when he put the ball into the back of the net, it definitely was a sigh of relief for probably every Inter fan, every Inter player, even Chivu. It was a lovely goal, I'm going to be real. And the thing is, like, you see when Lautaro Martinez scored, I actually started laughing. Like, I genuinely started laughing because I was like, when Inter have the big games, he doesn't really step up. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's never, ever stepped up. Hell no. I credited him last year against Barcelona. I credited him last year against Bayern Munich, especially at the Allianz away from home in Germany. He steps up. Like, don't get me wrong. This dude practically plays week in, week out. It's like they say in the UK, every dog has its day. There will come a day where you do step up. But what separates the best of strikers from like the mediocre strikers to the below par strikers is the best of strikers, they step up 8 times out of 10 in the big games, because in the big games, that's when the top players stand out and secure the 3 points for their team. And I'm gonna be real, like, for example, Milan derby, I don't think he was great. Atletico Madrid, I do not think he was great. Even if I was to go like all the way back into some of the earlier games in the Serie A, when it comes to the big games, Lautaro for me just doesn't step up. Like, he doesn't cement himself on the game. Like, he doesn't impose himself on the game. And fair enough, sometimes you see a striker, he will score you in the big games, but you'll turn around and say, he scored, but that 90-minute performance, it wasn't great. It didn't really aid the team. It didn't really benefit the team. It didn't really like affect the opposition. The thing is with Lautaro Martinez, when it comes to the big games, he's not scoring and he's not performing. And then what? A week later, a game against Pisa, like against relegation fodder, against a team that's just come up from Serie B, he scores himself 2 lovely goals. So the discourse is serious. I'm going to be real with you guys. Like, the discourse is serious. Is he a flat track bully? And if Inter want to start going back to winning the big games, because you do need to win the big games if you want to cement like a title charge, if you do want to go far in the Champions League, what type of striker is he? Like, I would be real. Like, I'm not petitioning for him maybe like to be dropped. No, hell no, because I think he's a player of a lot of quality, and you saw it today. Like, he is very talented, but how long can this go on? Like, he's been at Inter for a long while, and I'm gonna be real, like, it's now beginning to look like a pattern. But anyways, like, I'm not gonna really like shit on his performance in any way. I'm really mainly here to speak about like the game in isolation. He gets himself 2 goals. He secures the 3 points for Inter. And for Chivu, the second goal, once again, at the back post, in the right place at the right time. He anticipates it. He's in the right place at the right time, puts the ball into the back of the net. The players that I really want to speak about, I feel like Luis Enrique, Chivu is trying to give him a few minutes, because you could see Like as of late, Carlos Augusto is playing as a right wing back. Does that position really aid him? Like, is that really his position? Does he really flourish in that area? Especially when you bear in mind, like, you've genuinely got yourself a right wing back, like a right wing back in Luis Enrique, who actually flourished there at Marseille last season under Roberto De Zerbi. You've paid £25 million for him. You need to find a way to integrate that asset. Like, you need to find a way to involve this £25 million right wing back in your team, because let's be real. What is it? Does money grow on trees? Is 25 million just being paid for him, and he's not going to get any minutes? He's not going to get the opportunity to impress himself? Where the problem is, and there's a reason why I mentioned the word opportunity. When you're a new signing and you walk into a team where you've got like some star players, like you've got some players that have cemented their position on this team. For example, Dumfries. Dumfries has cemented that right wing position. That's his. You have to know your opportunities are not going to be that much. Like, you're not going to get that many opportunities. But what the best of players do, or what players with the right hunger, with the right mentality, players that are eager to impress, an eager beaver, they make sure I capitalize on that opportunity, whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's added time, whether it's the odd 45 minutes in a Coppa Italia game. I'm going to make every single minute, every single second count. And I'm going to be real. When I look at somebody like Luis Enrique, I don't really think he's stepping up to the plate. I really, really, really don't think so. And I think defensively, he's all over the place. But on top of that, I think tactically, he's all over the place. Like, Liga 1 is very different to the Serie A. For example, I look at Barella, and I see like Barella is one of those players where I see him get a lot of criticism, like sometimes online, sometimes through punditry. And I'm like, it's no surprise. Whenever Luis Enrique is on the field, Barella basically has to like babysit him. Like, I think that's the best word to use. He basically has to babysit him. He basically has to hold his hand. He has to say to him, listen, me and you will go through this battle together. Don't you worry. I'm here. I got your back. But now that holds him back from doing what he does best in the final third. Like, you look at the assist that he got for Lautaro Martinez. That's what Barella can do. But I understand him being a team player, but at the same time, if you are a top team, you shouldn't have players out there that need their hand held throughout a 90-minute game, especially against Pisa, like, with all due respect. Luis Enrique, I genuinely don't know, and I wouldn't be surprised if Inter seriously look at him and say, if we can try and recoup 75% of our money, we might have to let you go. Why? Because there is another player that was given an opportunity in your same position whilst being misprofiled, whilst playing out of position, but he sent a statement. And I feel like today, the subs, Zielinski, Esposito, and Diouf, I think they all played well. I genuinely think they all played well. Everybody knows my opinion on Esposito. I think he's a lovely talent. I think he's an amazing player. I think he's got such a bright future. And I've spoken about him 100 times. So let's just wrap it up when it comes to him. I think he was great. Zielinski is one of those players where he was signed as a free agent. Could he really replicate like the Napoli days? Fair enough, his last season at Napoli wasn't the best, but Zielinski is a player that's Serie A proven. He's shown you what I can do, especially in the first, second, and third phase. I can be a game changer. I can be a ball progressor. I can be a ball carrier. I can be a ball retainer. I can be a ball recycler. I can be a guy that unlocks some of the toughest of locks. And I think at the moment, with Mkhitaryan injured, and like Sucic, it's one day good, one day average, one day very below par. Zielinski's beginning to show that experience, whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench. I think against Atletico Madrid, he was great. I think even today when he came off the bench, Zielinski, like, how do I put it? It's like he brings a bit more fluidity to the midfield because he's very good at the give and goes. He's very good at carrying the ball. He's very, very, very good in those tight, congested areas, yeah? Funny enough, the thing that holds back Zielinski the most, it's probably his reliability. Like, he is a player where throughout his time at Inter, you have seen he picks up a lot of injuries, like more injuries than the average pro. But Zielinski, when he came off the bench today, like, he showed a bit more bite in midfield where he wanted to get the ball forward as quick as possible. He was more than happy to either pass it forwards or carry it forwards. He picks up some good positions in the centre of the field where he always makes himself available. Like, Zielinski's one of those players where if you want to watch him and you want to understand how good he is, watch what he does off the ball because he always impresses me. And like, this is ever since his Napoli days. I always watch him and I'm like, you're always in the right place at the right time and you always make it as easy as possible for you to receive the ball from your teammates. I feel like when he came on, he was great. Diouf, the first time I ever laid eyes on the dude, I'm going to be real, was in the Milan derby when he came off the bench. And he caught my eye because for a guy that hasn't played much, for a guy that knows he's under a shit ton of pressure, and for a guy that needs to make every minute and every second count, he entered the field at the San Siro like as if he's been playing every single week. Like, you could see swagger, you could see confidence. How many stepovers was this dude attempting? He was going for goal. Like, he didn't play like a player that hasn't played at all this season, or a player that's a little bit nervous, a player that's like trying to play it safe because he doesn't want to get into his manager's bad books. No, he came out and he was like, listen, I'm going to play my game and I'm going to show you what I can do. You like it, you like it. You don't like it, put me on the chopping board. I think today when he came off the bench, once again, playing as a right wing back, I liked what I saw. I'm going to be real. He's just technically good, but do you know what it is? He's got a bit more bite to him than a Luis Enrique. I think Luis Enrique, full of confidence, full of form, feeling himself, integrated, adapted to the Serie A, he's definitely a player of high confidence. I watched the kid last year at Marseille, and I really, really, really liked what I saw. But I feel like at the moment, he's one of those players where he needs Chivu to like put his arm across his shoulder and tell him, listen, I'm going to stand by you. Very similar to how Barella is standing by you. But I'm going to be real. Like when it comes to top teams, you can't afford players like that. You genuinely can't afford players like that, especially in like must-win games. That's why for me, I do look at Diouf, and Diouf is going out there and he's telling Chivu, he's telling Barella, he's telling them, I don't need you to hold my hand. I don't need you to put your arm across my shoulder. I'm going to go out there and do what I do best, and let's see. And I think at the moment, because he can't really sniff an opportunity in the center of the field, because like I feel like Barella's form is beginning to pick up. Calhanoglu, yeah, he hasn't been great as of late, but I still think he's been like one of the performers of the season. Then you've got Sucic, who, once again, he's like, he can be inconsistent at times, but Sucic is still a great talent that should be starting week in, week out. Not starting week in, week out, sorry. Like, as in, he should be getting minutes. Zielinski is another one that's entered the frame. Chivu's probably looking at Diouf and thinking, I've got dudes performing in midfield, and if I need to take one of them out, I've got Zielinski waiting. If Zielinski starts, I've got Sucic there. Maybe you can't get minutes in central midfield, but at the end of the day, if you can't get minutes in central midfield, I can still give you minutes elsewhere, and those minutes will still aid you in terms of just developing in the Serie A, in terms of just understanding the Serie A. Like, you could play all over the field. As long as you play in the Serie A week in, week out, you begin to understand the intensity, the physicality, the tactical demands of it. And you can see Enrique is not really understanding the tactical demands of playing at Inter, of playing in the Serie A. Diouf, I like what I saw, and I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if, like, if I remember correctly, Coppa Italia is next week, midweek. I wouldn't be surprised to see Diouf start either as a wing back or maybe in midfield, because I think he's sending statements to Chivu. In those 5 minutes, I'm going to show you what I can do in just as little as 5 minutes. In this 45-minute performance, I'm going to show you exactly what I can do. So roll the dice on me. Roll the dice on me. Give me 90 minutes and let me see what I can do. If he does pick up, I'm going to be real. Like, he definitely brings something so different to this entire midfield. He just brings like a level of physicality, which you could seriously make a case sometimes this Inter team severely lacks in midfield. And if that is the case, he will genuinely feel like a brand new signing, because he is a brand new signing that hasn't really played much. I think I've overtalked on Diouf. I really think I've overtalked Diouf. My point is Lautaro Martinez gets back in on the goals. Diouf, Zielinski, and Esposito really done well off the bench. Inter secured the 3 points, which is what they should have done before the game. Like, it's a game where you should be walking out of it with 3 points. Performance wasn't great, but listen, I've always said this before. 38 games a season. You're never going to play champagne, smooth, fluid football for all 38 games. Sometimes the games where you don't play well, you need to make sure you don't lose them. And Inter have walked out of it with 3 points. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, engage in the comments. Then I'll catch you guys on another one.